A lot goes into planning your first trip to Europe. There are so many things to remember. While it can be exciting, it can also be nerve-wracking because, well, one mistake could cost you hundreds of dollars or derail your entire trip.
So by the end of this video, you'll have a solid outline of what you need to do before you leave home, what things may surprise you once you arrive, and how to make your first trip to Europe smoother, less stressful, and a whole lot more enjoyable.
Every trip starts with something that, well, seems pretty straightforward, a passport. While that sounds kind of obvious, every year people start planning trips before they've even checked whether their passport is still valid, or think about getting a passport for their infant or children.
And don't just make sure you have a passport. You also need to check the expiration date. It's best practices to make sure you have at least 6 months of validity beyond your return date.
Now, once you've confirmed your passports are all set, the next thing to understand, well, is entry requirements. Now, Americans used to be able to visit most European countries without obtaining a traditional visa or, for short stays. But that's changing. For instance, if you plan to visit the UK, you need to apply online for the ETA or Electronic Travel Authorization before you go. It costs a few dollars. The European Union is also changing some of its entry procedures.
Programs like the Entry-Exit System, or EES, tracks when you enter and exit the Schengen zone. They'll take your picture, get your fingerprints, and ask a few questions about your trip.
The European Union also has a future travel visa requirement on the horizon called ETIAS or ETIAS, the European Travel Information Authorization System, which is kind of like a visa that you apply for online, and again, it'll cost you a few dollars.
The ETIAS is supposed to start in late 2026, but it has been delayed over and over. So it's important to check your government's diplomatic website for current requirements before every trip.
And remember, if you leave the Schengen zone to go to a non-Schengen country, such as the UK, well, you'll have to go through the EES as you leave, or the Electronic Entry and Exit System. So just keep that in mind.
But then if you come back into it, you'll have to go through the EES all over again. It's a never-ending cycle. Depending on the crowds, once you arrive in the Schengen, go through EES and get your luggage. You're looking at probably about an hour, maybe a bit less.
Okay, as you're planning your trip, let's talk about two of the biggest mistakes travelers make as they visit Europe for the first time, and how to keep them from ruining your trip.
The first mistake is trying to see too much in one vacation. Europe isn't a single destination. Italy feels different than Spain, Spain feels different than Denmark, and Denmark feels different than Scotland.
We often tell people to stop asking, well, how many countries can I visit? And instead ask, what kind of trip do I want? That's usually where better itineraries begin.
Maybe you want castles and history. Maybe you want food and wine, river cruises, beaches, museums, or small villages that most tourists never see.
Once you decide on what kind of trip you want, now you have to build a realistic itinerary. An itinerary is often based upon the time of year you visit. Are you visiting during the high season of summer or during one of the shoulder seasons in the spring or fall?
The next mistake people make is treating travel days like sightseeing days. They're not. So you have to build travel days into your itinerary. If you're changing hotels every other day, you're probably spending more time moving than enjoying where you are. Slowing down often leads to a much better experience than trying to do too much.
Next, let's talk about booking the flight for your trip. The earlier you book your flight, the greater your savings may be. For instance, you might find flying into one city and going back home from another city can save you both time and money.
That's especially true if you're traveling through multiple countries. Instead of backtracking to the catch your flight home, you can keep moving forward through your itinerary.
That's right. Once you've landed in Europe, well, there's another thing you need to do, and that is to figure out a way to get around. Fortunately, Europe gives you more transportation choices than almost anywhere else in the world.
We love trains because they usually take you from city center to city center. They're comfortable, efficient, and they offer great views of the countryside, so they really become a part of the travel experience.
That's right. Budget airlines can also be useful to travel from one European city to another or one European country to another. Just remember that those low fares, though, also come with baggage fees, paying for snacks and drinks, and possibly carrying your luggage up boarding stairs to get on the airplane. But if you want to go from one city to the next, and you can live without a Diet Coke and with some stairs, well, these airlines can save you some money.
And if you're planning to visit rural areas, small villages, or scenic countryside locations, a rental car might make the most sense. But remember that many European rental cars have manual transmissions, and you pay a bit more for an automatic.
Let's talk about accommodations. Well, because there are more options than ever before. Hotels, vacation rentals, apartments, guest houses. You've got almost endless choices.
We personally use hotel points if it meets a short-term travel need. Over the years, we've saved a considerable amount of money staying with IHG properties using points and rewards programs. IHG cards also don't have foreign transaction fees, so that saves us money.
Vacation rentals can also be a fantastic option if you're staying several days in one location. Having extra space and sometimes a kitchen can really improve the experience, and it can save you some money.
Wherever you stay, pay close attention to the reviews and location. Being close to transportation can sometimes be more important than having the fanciest room. But, like we always say, don't think an amazing destination will compensate for less than desirable accommodations.
Now, let's talk money, because this is something that worries many first-time travelers. The good news is that Europe is much more credit card friendly than many people expect.
In fact, many places rarely handle cash anymore, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't carry some local currency with you.
We usually recommend having at least some local currency available for smaller purchases, public restrooms, local markets, or the occasional business that doesn't accept cards.
And when you use your credit card, if given the option on the credit card machine, always choose a local currency.
Right.
The same is true if you're getting cash out of the ATM. Your bank will always provide a better conversion rate than a local European bank.
Another thing worth checking before your trip is whether your credit card charges foreign transaction fees. Some cards charge extra every time you use them overseas.
A good travel card that doesn't charge foreign transaction fees can save you a surprising amount of money over the course of a trip.
While we're talking finances, avoid exchanging large amounts of money at airports. The exchange rates are often far less favorable than you'll find through local bank ATMs.
We prefer using bank ATMs after arriving and withdrawing only what we think we'll need for the trip. Bank ATMs are just more secure.
They are. Another thing that you'll want to plan for is your phone. Your smartphone becomes one of the most important travel tools you have once you're overseas.
Navigation, translation, train tickets, restaurant reviews, lodging reservations. It's all right there in your pocket. Make sure you understand your international plan or eSIM options before leaving.
While we're talking about technology, let's discuss electricity, because this confuses a lot of first-time travelers also. Many people think they need to buy expensive voltage converters before heading to Europe.
The good news is that most modern electronics, including phones, tablets, laptops, cameras, and their chargers, are all designed to work on both 110 and 220 volts. Check the fine print on the charger, and you'll often see that it does accept both.
In many cases, you don't need a converter at all. What you actually need is a simple plug adapter that allows your US plug to fit into a European outlet. If you'd like to check out the adapters we use, there's a link below in the description.
The devices that sometimes require extra attention are things like hair dryers, curling iron, and other appliances that generate heat. Those are the items you'll want to research before travel. Spending a few minutes checking your electronics before the trip can save you both money and frustration after you arrive.
Now, let's talk about packing. If you've never been to Europe before, there's one piece of advice you're going to hear over and over again.
Pack less than you think you'll need.
That's right. Europe often involves more walking, more stairs, more movement than many American vacations. Every extra pound you pack in your suitcase eventually becomes your problem.
And speaking of walking, comfortable shoes are absolutely essential. Those beautiful cobblestone streets can be surprisingly unforgiving after a few days.
Clothing is another area that catches some travelers by surprise. Europe is generally casual, but certain locations have specific expectations.
Churches, cathedrals, and mosques may require covered shoulders, longer shorts or pants, and more modest clothing. It's a good idea to have at least one outfit that meets those requirements.
So before you visit religious sites, a little preparation, well, it can save you a lot of frustration and maybe even some embarrassment.
Another important topic is medications. If you take prescriptions, bring enough for your entire trip and keep them in your carry-on luggage.
Losing checked suitcases is an inconvenience. Losing access to medication, well, that can become a much bigger problem.
You may also want to bring copies of your prescriptions and keep a list of medications with your travel documents. Also, make sure you travel with your prescriptions in their original bottles. That way, security personnel have a better handle on what they're dealing with.
Now, let's move to something a whole lot more fun, and that is the topic of food. Here's something many Americans don't expect. Restaurant culture can be very different in Europe.
Meals are often slower and more relaxed. Servers generally won't rush you because many Europeans view dining as an experience rather than a transaction.
In fact, you may need to ask for the check because it won't arrive on its own automatically. That's perfectly normal.
Tipping customs can also be very different. Before visiting a country, take a few minutes to Google local tipping expectations. In some countries, no tips are expected. In other countries, they may come into play. Just keep an eye on your check. If there's a service charge included, there's a tip.
Another cultural adjustment is public transportation etiquette. Some countries have unwritten rules that locals simply expect everyone to follow.
Things like standing on the right side of the escalator, speaking quietly in certain train cars, and offering your subway, bus, or tram seat to a pregnant, disabled, or older passenger can make you blend in a little better.
And while Europe is generally very safe, it's wise to stay aware of your surroundings in crowded tourist areas. Pickpocketing is usually a bigger concern than violent crime. They especially target your cell phone. If they see you using your cell phone, they grab it, and that way they have access to all your information. In the description below, you'll find an inexpensive security device we use to keep our cell phones safe.
A little awareness goes a long way. We don't say that to scare anyone, just to help you to avoid becoming an easy target.
Another thing worth considering is laundry. Many first-time travelers pack for every single day because they don't realize how easy laundry can be overseas.
A simple laundry day can allow you to pack much lighter and travel much more comfortably.
As far as communication goes, learning a few local phrases, well, that can go a long way. Even a simple hello, please, and thank you often earns you a big smile.
Most people don't expect you to speak their language fluently. They simply appreciate the effort. Google Translate can be a huge help in communicating.
One thing that surprised us on our first trip was just how different each country feels. A lot of Americans talk about Europe as if it's one place, but it really isn't.
The culture, food, Pace of life, transportation systems, and even daily routines can change dramatically from one country to the next. That's part of what makes traveling here so rewarding.
Another thing many travelers don't think about is building a day of rest into their itinerary. When every single day is packed with museums, castles, churches, and train rides, travel can begin to feel like work. You don't want to feel like you need a vacation to recover from your vacation.
Some of our favorite days have been the simple ones: sitting in a cafe, strolling through a local market, or enjoying a waterfront can sometimes be just as great as the big attractions.
Another thing to do before you leave home, it's to make sure you download a few useful apps. Offline maps, translation apps, airline apps, and train apps can save you a tremendous amount of time and frustration.
We always recommend downloading anything important before you leave the United States. That way you're not scrambling to find a connection when you arrive. Also, having a digital copy of your passport, vaccination records, or other important documents saved to your phone may be a good idea.
It is a good idea. Digitize everything. Travel insurance is another topic worth considering. Nobody likes spending money on something they hope they'll never have to use, but you have to expect unexpected things to happen.
Whether it's a medical issue, a delayed flight, lost luggage, or a trip interruption, insurance can provide some peace of mind. It's something every traveler should at least evaluate before a major trip.
If all of this feels like a lot, don't worry. All right? The good news is that you don't have to figure it out all at once.
Start with your passport, decide where you want to go, build a realistic itinerary, and then work through the rest of the list one step at a time. Before you know it, you'll be on your way.
The truth is that millions of Americans successfully visit Europe every single year, and most of them aren't travel experts when they start.
They simply do a little planning, stay flexible when things don't go exactly as expected, and remain open to new experiences. That's really the secret.
And once you've taken that first trip, something interesting usually happens. Europe stops feeling intimidating and it starts feeling familiar.
That's when the real fun begins, because instead of wondering if you can travel to Europe, you'll start wondering where in Europe you want to go to next.
That's fun. If there's one thing we'd like you to remember from this video, it's that your first trip doesn't have to be perfect, all right? It just has to get you there so you can enjoy all the amazing experiences.
Europe has an amazing way of teaching you things, surprising you, and creating memories you never expected. And the hardest part is often taking that first step and booking the trip.
So get the passport, do a little planning, pack those comfortable shoes, and start turning that dream into reality. You might be surprised how much easier it is than you think.
If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe, thumbs up, and notification button so YouTube knows to share it with more travelers. Also hit the share button to share the video with your friends and family.
Okay, that wraps it up for this week. Y'all take care, and we'll see you again next week. Until then, happy travels!